ready?
Born ready.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Mansplanation, a show where your screen god, Eso, and I get to explain ourselves out of trouble. Today's topic is kind of interesting, especially if you're in the big 3-0 club.
Listen, man, we're calling it dating in your 30s, the big reveal or the real deal. Now, listen, Daniel, dating in your 30s is kind of interesting because people make it out to be a lot of things. Now, for women, it's seen as the last chance salon. You either get your shit together, you get serious, you settle down. But I think nowadays the idea is changing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, things are different now.
Yeah.
Growing up, 30s were that's the last age you get before you become our parents. That's your last chance to do what you got to do before you become mommy and daddy. However, now it seems everyone in their 30s are fine. You know, life just, you know what they say, life begins at what, 40? But so 30s are the
it's
new.
shifting.
Yeah,
It'll soon be 50.
it's shifting.
It'll
So
soon be
people are
50.
more comfortable in their 30s. However, you have an acute awareness that this is your last chance to get things right before you become that person who's too old to get married or too old to start all over again. You have a certain awareness that, you know, time is running out. 30s are it. You know, you got to get your shit together and, you know, steer your life in the right direction. I mean, when you're in your teens and your 20s, you're dating older. For ladies, they're dating older guys mostly, you know, because older guys have their shit together, you know, they have great jobs and, you know, they have the money to take care of you. So your eyes are pretty much there. You don't look at boys who are your mates mostly or younger guys. But then when you become, when you hit 30, you realize that older guys are mostly married and don't have time for you anymore. And then most of your mates are looking at younger guys, right? So you can't even date younger girls because, you know, you can't date them. You can't date your mates because they want younger girls. They don't want girls in their 30s
Yeah,
mostly.
you see, that's a that's a very interesting way because it seems like the tables sort of turn for men and then for women, because men, as younger men, you hit a phase where it's like nobody wants you. You are maybe like 18, 19, 20, 21. You are young. I mean, except maybe you are in a certain demographic, maybe like the 2% house who you come from extreme money or whatever. But usually at 21, at 19, at 20, you don't have your shit together. You ain't got no money. So your age mates at that time, some of them might give you a chance. But usually women mature faster than men, way faster than men. So these women are already thinking other things. So you being in that position, you don't have a lot to offer. So then women are looking towards the older guys. You know, the guys who are maybe in final year, left university already, started working or making a name for themselves at the time. But you are just there in limbo. God, I'm 19. I don't get anything. I don't get. You just, and it's interesting because nobody wants you at that time. And then the men grow. The men get older. 28. Your life started to take form because you're not expected nowadays. You're not expected to have your life together at 28, 30, whatever. Your life starts taking shape. Then maybe you hit 30 and hopefully you start making a little money. You're not in the bracket of guys that women liked before. You know what I mean? And now the women who maybe at the time were the people that were in demand, they now enter their 30s, same as you. But there's a difference because a man in his 30s.
Tell us, Eso.
I don't like the way you said that shit. I don't. There's a difference because a man now in that certain age bracket is looked at differently now because for all intents and purposes, he might have like a bit of his life together. it might have like at least financial means of sustainability. But and then those sort of men, not me though, because me, I like my older queens. Y'all are precious, not me. Anyway,
You heard him.
yeah, facts. It's just everybody who knows me knows that, you know, sometimes young women stress me out.
This is the real Lanre Taiwo, men's club fans.
No,
Yeah.
no, bruh.
Go on.
You had to bring Auntie Shafi into this. Come on, man, don't do that.
No one said anything about Auntie Shafi, but go on.
Anyway, so when you get to that certain age, a lot of men in that certain, you know, you just start getting money or you just start getting comfortable. A lot of men want to return back to those younger women, you know, that make them feel good, make them feel like a certain. And then these women who maybe haven't settled down, you know, you're now into your 30s, the dating pool sort of narrows in Nigeria. That is, especially in Nigeria. I mean, other places as well, but in Nigeria is less common to see two people who have this age brackets. When you see a man and a woman 10 years, it's like, but when you see a woman and a man 10 years, people are likely to raise an eyebrow to that. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy. So I think that is the positional switch happens, and then, you know, as a woman, you're getting into your 30s, you want to date. You want people in your age bracket might not want to date, and this is not me personally. Again, people in your age bracket might not want to date you. Older men want to date younger women, and younger men want to date maybe not as old. So it's a very peculiar situation, because I have a lot of friends. It's a very peculiar situation to be like, especially when you're now crossover to like maybe the 40 club.
Right. And the flip side of that is, in your 30s as a lady, you seem to know what you want. You know, you're very mature, you're very put together. You know, you're not chasing men for money because you have your own money. You're just looking for true love. And it becomes tricky because where is the true love? You know, most of the people around you, like Esso said, I'm going to quote Esso. Like Esso said, are going for younger men, younger ladies, and then those that are slightly older are also going for younger ladies as well. Yeah, you know, or they're married and they're done. You know, they're done from the dating pool, so it becomes tricky. So what then do you do, Esso?
To be honest, I don't know if I can give advice on
be a kind 6.
Being a kind 6, 7, or just even if, I mean, they're kind 10s, they exist.
Yeah,
they're like
just
unicorns.
be kind.
They're like unicorns, but they exist. So I know that a lot of women are in that situation, and that's kind of tricky. And I know a lot of people want to know what to do, because again, when you now take out the percent, now don't forget that these women in question have specs. Even though as you grow older, both for men and women, your spec maybe might start to reduce.
You could adjust them. Say,
exactly.
You know, you start saying, I want tall, handsome, you know, oil and gas job, you know, Mercedes Benz, you know, he lives on the island, he fears God. Next thing you say, you should just have a good job and let him just fear God. Next thing, just fear God. Even if he's jobless, let him just fear God. Next thing, any man at all, let him just be a man, let him have bola. I'm okay. You know,
Daniel, this is when you just talk. Me and you go fight because I can't understand you. Anyway, so I don't know. I've legit had a heart-to-heart conversation like this, and I don't know. Let's you dating in your 30s that will spill over to 40s, because how does the pool of dating for women expand as they grow older? Does it just continue to close?
To be honest with you, I think the challenge becomes, do you evolve as a person in your 30s? Because most people don't, in terms of their desires. So their desires are fixed, although they're evolving. They have better jobs. They're more, more stable. They're more mature. However, their desires are still the tall, dark, handsome knight in shining armor, which isn't bad in itself, but there might be a need for you to just adjust slightly and be more open-minded, perhaps dating younger men,
Yeah, but in this country, I know definitely it exists, but it's not a lot. Especially let's move into personal stories, right? So
Yes, so tell us, because you seem to be really into older women. So tell us about the one time, one thing you didn't expect about dating women in their 30s.
You know, I've definitely found I don't know why you're coughing or laughing. I don't know whatever that is, but I don't like it. I think I've been luckier in terms of because
dating older women.
Yeah,
you seem to meet a lot of kind older women. I'm really interested in that.
Please don't be interested in my sports. Please. I mean, I'm also maybe not like say not typically older, but just in the range, same age range, but
slightly older.
But I've not really had luck with way younger.
Oh, way younger. Okay.
No, that's never really been my.
Plus, do we really want way younger?
I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems a bit stressful.
It is stressful.
It seems a bit stressful, yeah.
Way younger is definitely stressful because, you're not on the same wavelength at all.
We'll grab into that later.
Yeah.
But I'd say personally, like I had this lady I was seeing. At the time, I think she was in her late 30s or something.
Oh. And how old were you? Late 20s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 10-year difference.
Yeah. Ish. It's like a 10-year difference. So 20s, 30s. So I had met a relative of mine and I was waxing lyrical about the babe. Like, oh, yeah, I like her, blah, 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 blah. I'm not looking at me. And when I finished talking like, I say, late 30s? Why you not just do 60 now? Bruh, this is my... Say, now that you won't stop. That's the increase and the go now. I say, you know what, do 70, only 30.
Mind you, at the time you were 20s, so that's like a 10-year.
Why you don't want to do? Say, just do 60 now. Just do. And Martin just went ahead to mock me, and I said, no. She's great. I tell her, like, if not so she great, why nobody don't marry her? And bruh. And
whoa,
bro, that is what my auntie told me. Real tea. He said, if not so, because guy, I like this woman.
Yeah.
Like, if not so, I say she great, Abby. And you know my auntie's from the south. You know how the south aunties now. It's like, if not so she great, why nobody don't marry her? Oh yeah, explain to me now, since you get sense. Say now, mama, they worry you. Come on, yeah.
I'm for real.
Bro, for real. And it got me thinking, right? I didn't think about those aspects before. Like, if she's so great.
I mean, there's no, there are exceptions. There are, there's no one general rule why women don't get married early.
With my auntie at all.
Right.
I did not. But again, when they sow that
but it's something
seed,
to think about.
they just like start pricking at
and
you.
then it grows.
Just starts pricking at you like, okay, this is okay. Bruh. And this is something that I didn't clock at all in my psyche.
Yeah.
So that's my own personal story. And again, like I said, especially in Nigeria, because sometimes in America you even see it in like Hollywood stories or things like that. But here it seems to be a thing where the man has to be older, thus further reducing the dating pool for older women.
To be honest, I think love is love. You don't choose who you love. Well, that's even another conversation. Whether you choose who you love, but. For me, I've dated a woman 10 years older than I was at the time.
She Nigerian?
No, she wasn't. She was from the UK. And at the time, it was just great. I mean, it was a great relationship.
Yeah,
it was smooth. There was nothing that came up from the fact that there was a 10-year difference between us. Absolutely nothing. It was just whatever happened to that relationship happened because it just happened. Yeah. Not because she was 10 years older than I am. I think growing up, I dated a lot of older women, maybe not as much as the one that was 10 years older, but generally I just had this thing where I fancied ladies that were slightly older than I was, maybe because they were a bit more stable and more put together, and they just didn't used to stress me. They knew what they wanted and they went for what they wanted. If they liked you, they liked you. That's and they tell you that. It's not like, exactly. It's freaking attractive. Are you joking? Who has time for like, I like you, but you be pretending like you hate the person? Like, that used to just put me off. I'm like, I never understood that, because there was this plethora of ladies who would tell you that they like you, and that was it, and you just get on with that. However, I do know that settling with someone is different from just dating someone. Like, you date someone to get to know the person and get to decide if you want to spend the rest of your life with that person. But settling down with the one person is kind of different. Now, would you marry? That's what your auntie was probably alluding to.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you marry, sit down for someone who you're that much younger than? Some fun fact. I've heard more than once, where people said to me that, they thought my wife was much
older than you,
more older than I was. And I was like, really? Hell no. Like, no, not because there's anything with, marrying someone you're younger than, but just because it wasn't the fact. And I'm quite older than her, and we have that dynamics and it's fine. But I was quite set aback when I was getting,
Why do you think the person said that?
True story. My wife is very mature,
She is.
So she's very motherly, very she has like that whole
she's also
anti-vibe, rich anti-vibe going.
She's also very, very focused.
Yes, and she's a high achiever. She's like high flying, all of that. And I tend to be quite the creative, very chilled, very my style sense is like,
you need your creative juices flowing.
Yeah, I could wear shorts and I could wear shorts. I could play around. I could be playful.
You can also let it breathe. You're just like, why is it like really? Yeah.
And then if people just look at us together, they just be like, why is she giving rich auntie vibes, and why is he giving?
And this guy's giving creative. One of those creative boys.
She must be older than him, but absolutely not.
Yeah.
But that relationship was fine while it lasted, and it just didn't work out. And I chose to settle down with later on, not like right after, but much later on. Chose to settle down with my wife.
So before we move to tweets, right? Is there any advice or something to give a woman who's in this sort of position? You are no longer, again, because of the era we live in, 30 is actually the new 20. Yeah, but still, you are no longer, quote unquote, young.
Yeah.
You're not old, but you're no longer young. And you might be operating in a different timeline, because a woman who's maybe like 30s, 40s might be, and a man who's around the same age in our society now is usually, I'd say, married or settled down already. And the people who are younger might not be ready for what you are ready for, because you are working on apart from a biological clock, a mental clock as well. So is there an advice to give women in that position?
It's easier said than done.
Exactly.
I would
not settling.
Yeah,
it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because
and I wouldn't claim to know exactly what every woman in that category is going through. But I think this applies to the one rule is just to chill, really, because the truth is we smell desperation from a mile away, and no one wants to be with a desperate person. So I'd say the one is just relax, breathe. It's not the end of the world. Let people meet the real you, and the real you without that fear, because fear,
it makes you just, maybe you start love bombing.
Yeah, and it just stinks. Like fear, just that energy, like there's something it does to the guy. So you want to just drop that. You want to relax. You want to just let the real you come forward, and let the guy just meet you. The fun loving, the chill, the relax. Not you with like the first date, like, so what are we? Can you just chill? Like, I know your clock is ticking and all of that, but just we are not even pencil.
Hey, that's that effort track. Yeah, I like that.
What are we? We are not even pencil, but for real, just enjoy it. Enjoy getting to know each other. I think that's what dating is for, getting to know each other. So just enjoy. If he's younger than you, get to know him for who he is. Let him see the fun side of you. Let him see that you're sweet, you're understanding, you're kind. And I think, you take it from there. If he would love you for who you are and for irrespective of how old you are, that's the guy to be with.
Yeah, okay, but then now talking about it, then you're not talking, that's personal. You're not talking about it from a Nigerian perspective. You have relatives, you have aunties, you have uncles. Do you think a lot of parents and relatives might not support that sort of movement? And do you think that is a situation where people can say, you know what, screw it? Like, let's say for a man and a woman, let's give like example like a 10-year gap, because a 10-year gap between a woman and a man, between a man and a woman is nothing, but between a woman and a man, that strikes.
Yeah.
So do you think people who are in that situation like, screw it, get it done?
Absolutely. I think the fear of our loved ones and society is that they're not just used to it. And conventionally, it should be the man who's much older so that he can take care of the woman conventionally, traditionally. But if you have a woman...
when the man grows older, she takes care of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you do have a woman who at the time needs to get married and is in love with a younger man, what you must do, also, you cannot be naive and just expect the world to get with it. No, you must play smart and understand that people might not understand it. So you might want to keep it away from people. The age difference, you don't have to tell everyone. It's not anyone's business. It's your spouse's business, yes. But who says everyone else has to know that there's a 10-year gap between you two? It's none of their business. Keep it between you two. If you're in love with each other, you respect each other, keep it between you two. Get the job done. Everyone will be all right at the end of the day.
Daniel. So yeah, this thing is funny because the things you see on social media and the things you get from people on the internet, crazy. I'm going to take one, right? So this is not like an advice or like a scenario or anything. It's just someone stating a fact. So I'm going to read that. It goes, dating in your 30s means half your conversations are about how tired you both are, but at least you're tired together, bro.
No, that's real, man.
If
that's
I tell
facts.
you, that is so
That's facts.
real.
That's
like,
facts.
you got back pain, I got back pain, let's sleep.
Like, I know I'm married and all, but anyone, if I was dating right now, they'll be seeing me in the night. Like, from set. I come home and I just want to sleep. That's all you're going to see.
Again, like, this did... That's why I say, like, that's why I say, let's say, just to divert, that's why I say young girls stress me out, bro. I've never done any sort of drugs in my life, right?
Yeah.
The only time I took something I'd consider a hallucinogen, right, is where I went to a party one time and I was trying to be cool because there were young people everywhere. And I'm young still, but still there were younger people.
Gen Z, yo.
You know
Holla.
And then there was this babe, she was just on me and I was enjoying the attention. And next thing she brought out something and me in my mind, I'm like, hey, what is this? What is this? Bro, but we're chilling.
I know,
having a good
you can't do
time.
now.
Bro, if I hear, just chilling, having a good
Yes,
time.
we believe, boy.
Chilling, having a good time. That's when she was like, took one, put it in the mouth, swallow. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Me, I'm trying to avoid. I'm like, okay, cool. And next thing she's like, oh. I'm like, okay, really? And then she put a pill in my mouth. Bro, can't lie, I swallowed it. I can't lie, like,
You got, like...
Bro, couldn't do. And when that happened, like, the rest of the night was blurry and a lot of things happened. But I'm just saying, when you're with your like, your grown queen.
Yeah.
She's like,
she know you.
Good?
Yeah,
she just even looking at your liquor intake like,
you okay? Yeah, she's gonna be like, that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough for one night.
That's okay, bro. You're like gonna cover your cup. But this one is like, oh, let's go. And bro, the next day I felt like a dying animal. I was like, somebody save me from this situation. But yeah, that tie together. I like that. Yeah.
I have one here. Also a fact. It says, in your 20s, we'll see where this goes. In your 30s, can I see your bank statements?
But she wants to know the inflow and outflow.
Yeah.
What's going on
in your
with
30s, you, first of all, you're acutely aware of time, right? And you know you don't have time to mess around. You're not here for games, fun and games. So you want to know, okay, is this someone I'm willing? I mean, going as far as asking for a bank statement is a little too much.
No, that's
you know,
it's not even a little,
like
it's
an
way
extreme.
too much.
Yeah, but like you need to know that this guy is ready. You know, like I'm no games here. You know, my clock is ticking. Are we gonna do this or not? You know, I think ladies in their 30s are quite like straight to point, like no time to mess around. Generally. Because of course there are exceptions.
Thanks.
The exceptions, you know. But generally, ladies in their 30s are more serious. In your 20s, you're still open to experimenting. Yeah, you're not even sure what you want just yet. Yes, you like what you've seen it.
Yeah, you
done
like
it.
what you like. I get
you
that.
like what you like.
For sure. So
between me and you, 30s, ladies in their 30s are hot. Like you're okay. Like you're all right. Trust me, we got you, right? Like, no, I don't got you personally. Like the brothers got you. Okay, we love you just the way you are. Don't feel desperate. Don't feel in a hurry. Trust me, you're just right.
that is so beautiful. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah,
Should I go for the quote of the day?
absolutely.
I think I'm going to read that.
Okay.
It goes, the baggage won't come until there's pressure, and nothing brings pressure like marriage. You said that on one of our episodes,
I did.
right?
I did say
And
that.
nothing brings pressure like marriage, especially
Interesting.
in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nothing brings
Omo,
pressure.
your eye go clear.
Because people, they hit you from either side. Like, how far? When are you bringing our grandchildren? How far? When are you doing
That's
that?
why you need to go into it with your eyes wide open, man. Like, don't let butterflies and things lead you into marriage. Like, feel the butterflies and all, but let it settle down fast. And then you open your eyes.
You know this topic about feeling the butterflies?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it in a different episode. I like that.
Absolutely. You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mansplanation, where myself and Daniel, we try to talk our way out of trouble and, you know, bring a little less toxicity to the word mansplaining. Now, do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms. Just hit the link in the bio and we are waiting for your feedback. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.